About face post-election, two federal Democratic judges are being called out for reversing their retirement decision after Donald Trump's election victory. One of them is North Carolina Judge Max Cogburn from the Western District, who was appointed by President Obama. Now, North Carolina Senator Tom Tillis calls the move a, quote, political hack.
All right, we want to bring in our chief legal analyst, Khalif Rhodes, into this discussion, one of the brightest legal minds that we have on our staff and in North Carolina. Khalif, always a pleasure to have you with us. Okay, so what's happening here? It's not illegal, is it? But is this behavior frowned upon or surprised or what?
Not illegal at all. Let's think about it. These judges are lifetime appointments, so they're not running for office. So when we talk about Democrat or Republican, they're not running on a ticket. A Democratic president appointed them. A Republican president may have appointed them, but these are not folks that are running for office. So judges in general attempt to not be political anyway. But folks that are running on the ballot, they even try to sway away from that. But these judges have recognized, I would assume that they recognize that they don't have the votes within their own states, North Carolina being a reddish state, Ohio being a redder state, where they won't be able to get the two senators in their state to submit a blue slip to the Senate to be able to say, yes, we support these folks for nominated. So because they don't think they can have the votes, I would assume that's why they've rolled back their retirement or semi-retirement, because both of these judges had already announced seniorship, which will allow them to get a reduced caseload. In the federal court system, there's this 80 rule. You have to be at least 65, have 15 years of experience. If you've connected on that 80 rule, you can qualify for senior status. And then you get a diminished role, and then that lets the president know, hey, fill my seat. I'm about to retire.
Yeah.
Well, this judge here, he gave his announcements in 2022. Biden didn't fill the seat. So then he rolled it back because the writing's on the wall that they won't have the votes come a few months when the Republicans will be in charge.
And kind of Jason pointed to, this is something that we see. It's not illegal, but even we see it at the Supreme Court where they kind of decide when I'm going to retire. I know most recently Ruth Bader Ginsburg and how she maybe should have retired, as Democrats would have liked her to, so they could have appointed another judge there. So is this kind of, even though it's not supposed to be partisan politics?
I would say it is in that vein, that it's definitely not supposed to be partisan, but it appears to be partisan because you're trying to ensure that your seat gets filled by a likely situated person, or at least a likely situated president. And you know, for the next 4 years, that seat will be filled by a Republican. But from the folks that are saying that this is partisan, Mitch McConnell, I say, for instance, has been very hard on this process, extremely frustrated. But you got to remember, we can't have revisionist history. He blocked President Obama's appointment of Merrick Garland. He said he wouldn't support it and blocked it at all, wouldn't even give it an opportunity to be heard. And so we can't say on the one hand that these Democrats are doing partisan things when we just did this a few years ago. What I can say is that the judges have to be careful because they do have to abide by something called the judicial codes of conduct. Those canons are there for a reason. There's two that I would point to. The first one is don't have any impropriety or even the appearance of impropriety, and don't engage in any political activity. Those are where I say, when you ask, is it illegal? It's not illegal, but could they face some reprimand or some type of repercussion from the bar? Potentially, because it does have the appearance of being political.
We'll have to see if Senator Tillis files an ethics complaint. Well, yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. All right, Khalif, thanks. Appreciate that.